Hey guys, if you can hear me, if you don't mind commenting, that way I know that my audio is working and that everything is good to go. Anybody there? I will start in just a couple of minutes. Hey Jennifer, I see that you joined. Can you guys hear me? Is anybody having trouble hearing me? Hey Jennifer. I guess that means you guys can hear me. I just want to make sure because I have not used this phone for live yet. Yay, okay, good. All right, I'm going to give everybody just a couple of minutes to get on, and then we'll get started. I hope everybody's having a good night. Hey, Darby. Okay, I think I'll just go ahead and get started then. My name is Katie Greene, and I am the founder of Impact Ignited. I have been a coach for about 3.5 years. I joined in March of 2013, and I rose to the top, for at least for my business, pretty quickly. And I hit 7-star win about a year. I was a premier coach my first year, elite coach my second, and an elite coach my third. But, you know, you see the rank advancement announcements, you see my stats, and you probably think, wow, how'd she do that? How did she get to that level so fast? And all I can tell you is that you only see a small part of what happens. Behind the scenes, it's a mess. So an example is this. You know, I blow dried my hair, I put on makeup, I look fairly presentable, I hope, for my live call. But what you can't see is that I'm wearing pajama pants. And I wasn't going to show you that, but I thought, you know what, that makes sense. Like, you know, you see only the part that people want you to see. You don't see the full story. You don't see everything. And the same is true of success. You will only see a part of what happens when somebody is successful in their business. So unless we have leaders that are willing to be honest and transparent about the rest of it, the stuff you don't want to show, the pajama pants, then, you know, you're not going to really learn from mistakes. So I feel like learning from my mistakes is as important, if not more important, than learning from my success. So I am so beyond grateful for my team. I'm so beyond grateful for the success that I've had, the blessings that Beachbody has given me. But I can tell you that this road has not been completely uphill. And at some point, I took a turn and sort of retreated back into a mentality of smallness and comfort and just not wanting to grow. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what I mean by that. So I like to say that we have 3 different kinds of coaches in Beachbody. We have coaches that are pessimists, who are Debbie Downers, and they say, you know, I joined, but it's such a waste of time. Like, there's nobody left. There's no people. You know, how are these people even finding anybody? It's so saturated. Those people will never make it. They don't see that other people around them are making it happen. They don't see that the world is full of limitless people. They don't see that the opportunity is right there in front of them. The next kind of coach is the dreamer. I like to call them the unicorn coach. They want it to happen. They talk a big talk. They want to be elite. They want to be a top coach. They want this to change their life. But you know what they're missing? They're missing the teeth of it. They're missing the work. They're not willing to do what it takes. So while the dream is there, you have to have something to back it up. Then there's this small percentage of coaches, and it is small. Trust me, it is very small. They talk the talk, they walk the walk, and they do the work, and they make it happen. So my goal for this call is for you to assess which of those 3 you are. A big way for you to assess that is to determine whether you are a business owner or an employee. Let me explain that a little bit. I had a real breakthrough in my business last year when I was speaking to my corporate mentor, Kim Carver. And he said to me, you know, such a small percentage of our culture has a business owner mentality. We're comfortable being employees. We are comfortable taking commands, taking orders, showing up at 8 a.m., leaving at 5 p.m., living that life. That is what we have been taught is a real job. And we don't have that business owner mentality. And in order to have that business owner mentality, there's certain things that have to be in place. And I believe that when I first started coaching, I had a lot of these things in place. I was actually confident when I first started as a coach. I know that's really backwards. Usually you don't start with confidence and lose that, but I did. And the reason I would say that happened was I was kind of cocky. I came in and I thought, I'm a lawyer. I can do this. I can do this beach body thing. And I came in with a lot of confidence and a lot of pizzazz, and I loved it. And I just felt like I've got this. But then as my business grew, I started joining groups with the bigger fish. And I started comparing myself, and I started feeling small. I started feeling inadequate. I started feeling like I was the middle-aged mom who would never have the six-pack abs, that would never, be able to create an Instagram following like some of these young girls who are like 25. And I let all of those thoughts come into my head, and I had this comparison game happening. And I will tell you that the second you do that and you don't see your own value as a coach, it will mess with your head. It will mess with your business, and it's not good. You have to work on yourself, whether that be personal development, positive, reinforcements to yourself that you can do this, you're fully capable, you have something to offer. Be confident and know that about yourself. So I think I did definitely let those kinds of thoughts happen, and they were planted in my head by myself, but then I just kept dwelling on them. And it wasn't a good thing for my business. Another thing that a business owner does that an employee does not do is they see problems and they fix them themselves. Okay, this is going to be some tough love. And I have to say that I don't think I was as guilty of this as I was the confidence thing. But a lot of you say, my business isn't growing because my upline sucks. Or my business isn't growing because my coaches suck. My downline sucks. No. None of that is true. Your business isn't growing because you're not growing your business. And I'm not saying that to be rude, or it is the truth, and everybody needs to hear it. If your business isn't growing, it is your fault. It is you. Now, that could mean that you need to recruit new people. It could mean that you have to come up with new systems, but you have to take ownership. And a business owner cannot finger point. A business owner has to take responsibility, has to take ownership. And when there is something lacking, they have to change it themselves. So instead of finger pointing, my upline, my volume isn't that great, or my downline coaches, they're just not engaged. Well, are you engaged? Are you recruiting? Are you constantly adding people? Are you talking to these people? Are you communicating with these people? Don't finger point. It's nobody's fault. It's your fault. When my business started to fall apart a little bit, guess what? Guess whose fault it was? It was mine. I'm going to tell you right now that I went from 12-star, and at my lowest point, I was 4-star this year. 4. 12 to 4. That doesn't just happen. That's not one person's fault in my downline. That's my fault. My fault for not communicating with my coaches. My fault for not recruiting at the level that I should be recruiting. My fault for getting in a depression and letting that keep me from communicating and being a positive leader. So when you have to do a self-check, you have to say, am I being a business owner, or am I being an employee? Am I waiting around for the answers? Am I waiting for somebody to fix my problems? Or am I taking ownership of this? How does this look day to day? Okay, so I have a funny story that my husband probably wouldn't want me to share. But when we were first married, he had a job in Dallas. And he and I both like to sleep in the mornings. And we would get to work around 8:30 or 9. Well, he had an old school boss. And his old school boss actually was in his chair, in his desk one morning, because he didn't like the time that Matt was showing up to work. And so to make him feel really uncomfortable and awkward, he decided that he would just sit in his chair and stare at him when he came in the morning. Well, obviously, Matt did not want to come in to work a little bit late ever again. The problem is with coaching, you're not going to get that kind of accountability. Your sponsor is not going to be creepy, sitting at the kitchen counter in the morning, staring at you to see if you wake up at 5 or 6 and get your work done. They're not going to be there for your power hour and say, get your work done. You can't expect that kind of accountability. You have to own your business. You have to do it yourself. You have to take initiative. You cannot expect other people to fix your problems. Same with your downline. Don't expect them to just make it happen. Don't rely on any one person in your downline. You have to constantly recruit, constantly engage your coaches, constantly be there as a leader. Another thing that I would say is function as if you have no upline. Okay, that sounds crazy because obviously we have a really supportive upline here. There's training groups, there's, these push groups, there's so much. You guys are so blessed. I'm so blessed. What we have here is unique and special. What I mean by that is, okay, I don't mean you still need to plug your coaches into, your upline groups. You still need to make sure that they're engaging with your upline, that they know where they came from. You still can take those trainings and duplicate them. You're not having to reinvent the wheel. But what I mean by that is if your upline disappeared, your goal needs to be for your business to be self-functioning. It's functioning on its own. There comes a point, and I'm assuming that everybody that's listening to this call wants to be a leader. I mean, you're here at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night. You obviously want something big out of this business. So just the fact that you're here, I know that. So what I would say is, make sure that you are, sorry, I hear my daughter. Just make sure that you are taking ownership, that you are doing what it takes on your own, and that you are focused. Sorry, I keep hearing footsteps out there. I just want to make sure my daughter's not walking in. But basically what I mean by that is just you have to decide whether it's something you really want. You have to decide whether this is worth it. Nobody's going to do it for you. You cannot finger point. You have to know whether or not this is something that's worth it for you. I got lazy. So one thing that I know I did wrong was I looked at the things that I had done my first couple of years and I thought, this worked for me. I'm just going to keep doing the same old, same old. But guess what? Things change. You cannot do that. You can't rely on everything staying the same and everything working exactly the same. You have to learn new skills. So last year, I felt like there were a lot of leaders that were saying, I'm working 8 to 4 on my business. And I was thinking, what in the heck are they doing? Like, I don't even know what to do. And I really came to that point where I was like, I don't even know how to fill my day. I don't know how to work that long on Beachbody. I can make a couple of posts. I can try to be funny. I could do whatever, but I don't know how to fill an 8 to 4, 8 to 5 day. So I decided I got to learn something new. So I think that there's a couple different kinds of personal development you can do. Some of them are good for your state of mind. Some of them are good for your practical skills. And last year I took a class on Facebook advertising. And honestly, it kept me afloat this year. Had I not taken that class, I'm not sure if I would be recruiting at all this year. It helped me. It's the Jesse Reagan course. You can definitely ask your upline if you wanted to take it. Yes, it cost me money. Yes, it took time. But it was a skill that I needed because I had hit a brick wall. And a business owner learns new skills. A business owner invests in new skills. An employee waits for the training. If you're waiting for your upline to teach you Facebook ads, or if you're waiting for your upline to teach you how to do Instagram, then you are missing the boat. You're the business owner, okay? So if you want to learn that stuff, YouTube search it or sign up for a class. But it is not your upline's responsibility. That stuff is technical. It's complicated. And I actually started a group where I tried to teach my downline Facebook ads, and I wanted to jump off of a cliff because it was awful to try to teach that stuff. I realized that is a job. Teaching Facebook ads, that is a job in and of itself. So invest in your skills. Invest in personal development when it comes to your skills. Think about that as a form of personal development, whether it be Snapchat. God knows, I have no idea how to use that. But it's something I need to be doing. Or, Pinterest. Some people use Pinterest for business. Pick something you love and really learn the skill. Really invest in it. And invest your time in becoming an expert. I did that with Facebook ads. I can't call myself an expert, but I can tell you this. I can run an ad in about 5 minutes and it can be targeted. And I know my audience and I know how to split test. And I just took the time to learn it. I was a business owner. I didn't wait for my upline. In fact, I shared that class with my upline. I'm the one that said, you guys need to do this. It's own your business. Take initiative. Do what you need to do. So let's see. Another one. This is a big one. Your energy will influence your team. So if you had a brick and mortar business, if you had a restaurant or something like that, if you were depressed, or if you were having marital problems, or if your kid was being a brat one day, guess what? You still go to work. You still have to go to work. So the same is true with Beachbody though, but it takes your initiative. You have to still show up. You have to show up every single day. There have been times in the last year I have not felt like showing up. And I showed up anyways because I felt like I'm a business owner. I know I own my business. This is my baby. I am in it for life. And, I have to show up. So I showed up, but I have to say that, I always hit Success Club 10, and I definitely did the basics of my business, and I would always recommend that you do that. But one thing I let slide is my energy level. And I swear, you guys, even you can see someone's energy level in the number of exclamation marks. I'm sure there are people on my team that are like, Katie, calm down. You do not need 5 exclamation marks, 3 hearts, and celebratory hats with every single post. But if you bring that kind of energy and you are sincere and you feel it, people feel it. I have that energy back in my business, and it is contagious. For a while there, we were going through a lawsuit. My marriage was a little bit rocky. I was stressed out about other things. And I let all of those life stresses, the fact that I wasn't on Prozac anymore, I'm just being real. I needed my Prozac. So I let some of those things impact my business. And I would come in there and I'd show up, but I was like, hey guys, we have an open house. Hey guys, we have a team call. When you're like that, people know it. You either just exude energy and excitement, or people will feel your heaviness. And I was bored with my own business. I was bored with myself. So I think it's important to keep that energy up, whether that takes personal development for you, keeping up with your exercise. That's a big thing for me. When I'm exercising and I'm eating healthy, I'm a positive person. When I am eating crap, gaining weight, I get negative, I get depressed, I get down. That is so big. Like, make sure you're keeping up with that. But your energy is contagious to your team. So keep that energy up. If you guys want to build your teams, the energy has to be there. And then I would say, let's see, making sure I didn't miss anything. Sorry, I'm just kind of talking off the cuff tonight. Gratitude. That's a big one too. And then I'll probably wrap it up after this. When I first started, I can remember we were really, really tight on money, and every little bit that I got through Beachbody, I was grateful for. I can remember even just like I remember thinking, how is this even possible? Like, how am I getting paid sitting at home with my kids, working out in my living room? Like, this seems insane. And it was insane. It literally felt like there was a fairy dropping money in my account every week. That sounds crazy, but that's how it felt in the beginning. Because I had crappy jobs. I'm talking like law firms that owned me, that worked me to the bone. I was there at 11 p.m. I was leaving at 4 a.m. to go to mediations across the state because people didn't want to pay for a hotel the night before. My jobs sucked. And I had been working since I was 14. So I think to have this business from home on social media seemed insane to me. Didn't even seem real. I was thinking, how is this even possible? This is crazy. Every time I got paid, I'd wake Matt up in the morning and I'd say, oh, I made $200. Or I can still remember the first time I made $500. I swear I almost pushed him out of bed because I was so excited. So, that sense of gratitude, keep that. Remember that this is practically coming out of nowhere. It's from like the cyber world. I don't know, but I know we work. We definitely work. It takes consistency. It takes dedication. It takes focus. And I think because it feels so abstract, so many people don't do it. So many people don't believe in it. It is real. That money was in my account every single week and has been ever since. It's very, very real. It's just that it doesn't feel as tangible when you're not going to an office. But you have to treat it like you have an office. You have to treat it like a brick and mortar job. One analogy that I like to think about is when we were looking for a house, the realtor would always tell us, that used to be a rental. That house used to be a rental. I don't even know if it's worth going to. Why? Why do people say that? Because when you rent a house, you don't treat it the same as when you own it. You probably don't work in the garden. You probably don't paint like scuff marks or, things around the house that need work. A lot of times the landlord isn't in touch with like the cosmetic problems or the plumbing problems or the electrical, or maybe they just didn't put the TLC in. When you own a house and you don't plan on moving, you put all that extra work into the house. It is your baby. You want, you work on the garden. You make sure that the house is pressure washed. You make sure that you nurture the house, that you take care of all the problems. And it's the same thing with your business. If you look at this business like you're renting, and you're just going to quit anytime anything goes sour, anything goes wrong, then you're looking at it in such a closed-minded way, and you know what? It's not going to work. It's just not going to work out. If you own your business, you take responsibility, you make the decisions, you create the systems, but at the same time, while you're creating systems, you maintain creativity. You stay in touch with your coaches, you communicate. If you're doing all of those things like a business owner, like a homeowner would in their house, you're going to see your business thrive. You're going to see the, long-term potential that it can have. And it's not going to become, part of the slums. So you need to treat it like that. You need to take ownership. You need to love it. You need to give it the TLC that it deserves. And you need to show up every stinking day. And you need to stop pointing fingers. You need to stop blaming your upline. You need to stop blaming your downline. You need to take responsibility. You need to delegate. I know that that's hard for some people. That was one of the big things I think happened to me, is that I am a control freak. And I had this amazing talent in my downline, and I wasn't tapping into it. I was taking care of everything because that's what a leader does, right? You take care of everything. But the truth is, I could have been asking more people to host groups. I could have been asking more people to do trainings. I could have been asking for so much more. And you know what? It would have helped them grow. It would have helped me grow. And it would have helped us bond closer together. And from here on out, I'm doing just that. I'm strengthening the leadership of my team. I'm pulling us together. I'm trusting them because they're fully capable. They can do it. And I'm just believing in the business, and I'm believing in what I've already created, but also I'm working to just add more people, find those right people, because that has to consistently happen. That is a basic business owner job requirement. So I want you guys to look through the document that I posted earlier. Are you a business owner or are you an employee? Because a business owner takes ownership of what they're doing. Remember that success is not just in straight road up. Remember my pajama pants. It can get crazy. There's a lot of stuff you don't see. There's a lot of stuff that you're like, I don't want to share this. I don't want to share that I was down to 4-star this year. I don't want to share that I'm probably not going to hit elite this year with my ATV the way it's looking. What I do want to share with you is that I'm never giving up. I'm taking ownership. I'm making changes where I need to make changes. And I'm loving my team. So hope you guys have a good night, and hope everybody stayed tuned, and let me know if you have any questions. I cannot do this live stuff and answer questions, so I'll just go through the comments. But love y'all. Hope you have a good night.